What up? Another day. What's it, day 28? No excuses, 2024. Walk and talk for that day is, I've been thinking a lot about what they call toxic masculinity, right? I'm gonna check my nose because I had to clear it. There were some nose hairs there. I had to get rid of them so they don't show up on the video. Anyway, I've been thinking about toxic masculinity, and that I don't believe that there's any such thing as toxic masculinity. The things that people call toxic masculinity are not masculine at all. They're not, well, other than in the namesake of like things that maybe men might do, but the toxic part is like, I believe I definitely had it, right? It was like toxic adult man baby syndrome, right? Man-child syndrome, and I suffered from that. And one of the reasons why people call it toxic masculinity is because that's a lot of us, especially us Gen Xers, and I'm sure other generations too, and millennials and Gen Zers, they've only seen this toxic man-child actions, right? And it mimics masculinity because, it's this false bravado, this false tough guy stuff, right? Because masculinity is yes, it's definitely protective. It can be, protecting your family, at all costs and things like that, right? But it's also very nurturing and loving, right? I don't think I'm 100% there yet. I'm trying to get to this masculinity plateau. I spent a lot of my life looking up to the wrong people. Even in my own household, my stepfather, very flawed human, very violent and abusive towards myself and my mom. Bad shit. Beatings, you wouldn't believe. But anyway, and then the people in my neighborhood, we lived in low-income housing. It's what some people would call the ghetto or the hood. And, people were a lot tougher there, but that was like this false masculinity, right? This tough guy fucking thing, right? Instead of, looking out for family and your community and things like that, it was this false, like, what we believed to be masculinity, right? I can whip your ass, so that means I'm a man, right? I can go all the way left, so that means I'm a man, when now I try to more understand the other person's perspective, especially my family, and the people I care about, and, I'm reaching out in the community somewhat, and trying to, propel that outward from myself, I definitely have issues with showing affection, I'm sure that's why my kids would rather be at their mom's house if they're sick, because I'm like, you'll be all right, just go walk down Goose Pond for 2 hours. I'm like, toughen up, you'll be okay. But no, you know what I mean? I'm joking about that to a certain extent, because I am kind of harsh like that sometimes. And, and that's the other thing, right? We think that masculinity is being harsh all the time, or, as Biggie Smalls said, right? Even when I was wrong, I got my point across, right? That's the toxic shit. That's the toxic man-child stuff, It's hard to admit when you're wrong, and that's part of masculinity, Like being able to be like, hearing somebody out and being like, okay, I understand your perspective. This is my point of view. And not get heated about it, there are times where you have to puff out your chest, but not all the time. And, that's the only extreme measures. How you doing, boss? And, hopefully, right? That's the goal that I'm getting to. If I don't ever have to put my hands on another human being, not that I had to in the past. I did, but there was a lot of times that I put my hands on another human being in violence, and I did not have to. I'm a pretty big guy, and 95% of the time, if I didn't put my hand up and snatch a little MF up or smack a person, they wouldn't have brought it to violence, you know. So, but again, that's that toxic shit, right? And I was full of that. I was full of that false bravado, the tough guy shit, and you know, like, women better know her place, and you know, the toxic shit is you know, it's woman hating, it's all this shit, you know, and I don't think that that's what it's truly about, you know, or no, I know that's not what it's truly about, you know. And the thing is that I'll see like a lot of these women talking about it online, toxic masculinity, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, but the thing is a lot of them also grew up the same way we grew up, and they're attracted to that false masculinity, to that man child, you know, like, you know, you can ask, you know, I mean, I've had women that, you know, I smacked a guy for them or something like that, and then they were like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't anything that really needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so so the women are attracted to these fake masculines, right? And, you know, so that's an issue too. So that's why the term came out, because they just figure, well, all men are this way, you know? And, you know, and a lot of times we don't pick the nicest person, right? You might pick the hottest person, or the strongest person, or the loudest person, or the one who has the most money, or the most cars, or whatever it is, you know? And we're not looking for that true masculinity in a man, you know, just like men are attracted to true femininity, you know? But we get this false femininity, you know, this, you know, I gotta get mine, and, you know, I don't need no man, and blah, 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 all this shit, you know. And the same thing with guys, you know, I don't need no bitches, you know. And it's like, well, we complement each other, you know. And that's the thing about masculinity, you know, when you have actual femininity and masculinity together, they complement themselves perfectly, you know. The household is no longer in chaos, or it has never been in chaos, you know. Everybody plays their role. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, your role is in the kitchen or this. And I do dishes. I fucking cook. I cook a lot of the time in my house, you know. I clean. But that doesn't make me less masculine, you know what I mean? At all. It's just, I don't mind doing it, you know. But that's just kind of my take on it, you know. I think that naturally masculinity can't be toxic by nature in itself. So if you're seeing toxic traits, it's not masculinity at all. It's something else masking itself as masculinity, right? It's weak, spiteful men masking that weakness with this toughness, this fake bravado, and you know, disrespect and abuse, you know. I don't think real men have to do that, you know, and I'm trying to get there myself, you know. But all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.